don't know about you, but I really needed that. I started our conversation on love 2 weeks ago talking about our Unitarian and Universalist histories of love and ideas about love, and why, in this moment in particular, we are called to hold love at the center of our faith. And in the language, the books, the articles, the emails I'm getting from the UUA and from across our tradition, they keep coming back to this phrase, liberating love. And it's one of those phrases that on the surface, I'm like, ooh, yeah, I co-sign that 2-word sentence. Liberating love, that should be what love does. But as this week met me with difficulties that watching our world turn a corner to injustice in a way that is not new to human experience, but feels new in this moment, I realized I had to think deeper about what liberating love actually asks of us. Liberation is the act of setting someone free from oppression, imprisonment, or restrictions. Whether those barriers are societal, systemic, or self-imposed, liberation seeks to restore the dignity and agency. It seeks to create conditions in which all people can thrive and flourish. And because of that, liberation is not a solitary endeavor. Liberation cannot happen through individuals alone. Liberation dares to say that my freedom is bound up in your freedom, is bound up in their freedom, in our freedom. That one of us, in the words of, I believe it was Audre Lorde, but I could be wrong, that none of us are free until all of us are free. That liberation, in a moment where we feel the weight of oppression so acutely, feels almost too fantastic to imagine. But liberation is collective. It's communal. It is one of the most profound threads in our interconnected web of all existence. And in my opinion, it is one of the clearest expressions of love in the human experience. To set someone free, to be set free, is an act of love. Liberating love means that we offer care, compassion, grace, understanding in the acts of breaking chains, dismantling injustice, and fostering a world of freedom. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this week of grief and pain, of finding comfort in the words of Bishop Marianne Edgar Budde, the bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington, D.C. And I'm sure I'm not alone in her sermon that echoed through the United States and the world of an opportunity where someone spoke truth to power in a very public way. If you go back and read the transcript, you could easily assume she was a Unitarian Universalist. Her sermon that focused on unity in a time of division was rooted in 3 foundations, the first of which is the inherent dignity and worthiness of all people, followed by honesty and humility. She preached truth to power in such a way that I had our hymn, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People," playing in the back of my mind. Because liberating love doesn't always look like yelling or screaming or throwing punches. But it does always mean speaking truth to power. Bishop Budde had the courage to confront not just a man, but an entire movement of division, disrespect, and dehumanization, and forced them in the kindest and gentlest way to reckon with the humanity of those they seek to oppress. When I woke up Tuesday morning, I woke up in a country that feared my existence so deeply that the government had to create an executive order to say I don't exist. It has been days since that order has passed. I am still here. I'm still not a man. I'm still not a woman. And at the same time, I have been out as non-binary since 2011. I am an elder they in many ways, and I have never, in my over a decade of being out of the closet, seen on such a national level a disdain for my own existence. What does liberating love mean when those in power say you do not exist? My undocumented friends and neighbors woke up on Tuesday in a country that feared their existence so deeply that within 48 hours, ICE raids were already being implemented across our nation. What does liberating love mean when we watch people be bound and imprisoned? What is our role, our responsibility? Where is that love that meets the foundation of our faith when the world dares to say, you don't belong here, and if you fight us, we will kick you out? And then I listened to Bishop Buddy's sermon. She took the opportunity to look out on a crowd of the most powerful people in the United States. And not only did she meet them with a gentleness that is a testament to her self-control, she met them with a plea for mercy. And in doing so, in front of the world, hold the powerful to table in that gentle, angry way, and asked them, where is your appreciation and respect for the inherent dignity and worthiness of all people? Where is your honesty that is required to create a unified nation? Where is your humility in seeking a unified nation? And she didn't say these directly. She wove the stories of her faith, of her traditions, and of this nation into an offering that invited the world in and surprised them. She asked them and asked the world, in witnessing her confrontation, where is the humanity of the powerful as they seek to strip the people of their inherent dignity and worthiness? Because those of us moved by liberating love know dehumanization is never the answer. And when people do evil things, we can call them evil. In her plea, she says, in the name of our God, I asked you to have mercy on the people in our country who are scared now. And I know that this might be too hopeful, naive, overly generous of an imagination I have. But I wonder if Bishop Buddy's words will haunt our nation's leaders. that her words might meet them at 3 a.m, like a Christmas carol, chains rattling their bedsides, asking to be broken. What seeds were sown in a sermon, and I'm so curious to see what fruit could be born. Will this moment not just haunt the nation's leaders into a more just and liberating world, but will her words haunt us? Will her words take root in our lives to build unity from a place of honesty, humility, from the inherent worthiness and dignity of all people? Her courageous words are liberating love in action. She could have used her pulpit to placate the powerful and chose to confront them with the humanity of the marginalized. Challenged leadership to embrace compassion over contempt. Her message broke across faith, across tradition, across borders and walls, and a universal, liberating love dares me to dream that I am not the only one impacted by her words. Her message serves as a powerful reminder that love is not passive. It is an active force that seeks to meet the powerful and ask them, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Do you not see that these two are children of God? You who so unabashedly claim to be chosen. In our own lives, how can we center liberating love? I don't know about you, but I'm not a bishop. We do not have the National Cathedral in Reno, Nevada. We don't have the platform or the power of Bishop Buddy, but we do have the courage. We do have the faith. We have the understanding, the compassion. In the weeks since Trump's inauguration, UUFNN has been in conversation, working with local organizations, making sure our undocumented siblings know their rights, know how to resist ICE. We've been in conversation with Trans Support Reno, making sure that Trans Day of Visibility this March will still be worthy of celebration in the face of an administration that denies our own existence. This community has already been doing the work of liberating love for decades before I got here. It is not a question of what do we do now, but a question of what have we already been doing and what do we need to continue to do? And what can we do to transform, grow, change, and be moved with humility? Because humility doesn't ask us to be meek and mild. It reminds us that we cannot do this alone. None of us can do this alone. Liberating love cannot be achieved alone. In our own lives, we need to recognize that love is expansive. It is inclusive. When we wave that rainbow flag on our front porch, we're not saying love is love is love is love is love is love. We're saying we see you, we hope to hold you well. You are welcome here, and hopefully we will be transformed by your community with us. When we place our Black Lives Matter flag on the sidewalk, so the people of our neighborhood can see our values in action, and it gets torn down again and again and again and again and again and again, and we continue to dare to place it. We are liberating love in actions that remind Reno that we are a deeply purple place. It means actively listening to the stories of others, especially those who are deeply different from us, who may express their humanity in ways we don't understand. And it challenges us to be in solidarity. That when we have our banner asking us to side with love, it is asking us to side with the marginalized, the oppressed. That liberation challenges us as people of faith that it is not just our internal transformation that we need to be concerned with, but the transformation of our world. We grow and deepen spiritually, and it calls us to make the love that we hold so dear visible in our actions and deeds and words, the community around us. Liberating love calls us to confront injustice. It is not enough to just feel empathetic. We must translate our compassion into action. Empathy is a necessity. I'm not one of those people that says empathy is no, we're not going down an empathy is sin rabbit hole. Empathy is a necessity. And empathy in action means that when we need to march, we march. When we need to phone drive, we phone drive. When we need to food drive, we food drive. When we need to drive someone here, or, as I forgot earlier, and my apologies, help Pat Francis take her dog on a walk. So if you want to volunteer to do that, talk to Colleen and she can help you. But it's about showing up for one another in real ways, in physical ways, in our words, actions, and deeds. It's looking each other in the eye and saying, my freedom and your freedom are threads in the interconnected web of all existence. The freedom of our planet is tied into the freedom of us. The freedom of people of color is tied to the freedom of disabled people, is tied to the freedom of queer and trans people, is tied to the freedom of immigrants. It is tied to the freedom of elders and the freedom of children. All justices are interconnected because humanity is interconnected. And lastly, we need to cultivate self-love. Going back to that definition of liberation I used to open this sermon, it is about setting someone free from barriers that are societal, systemic, or self-imposed. Liberation means that we must cultivate a self-love, recognizing that our own inherent worthiness and dignity empowers us to recognize the inherent worthiness and dignity of others. As we embrace our authentic selves, we create space for those to do the same. That, I believe, is the core fear of why I don't exist in this country today. My authenticity challenges and welcomes and encourages all people to be authentic. And when you don't have the self-love to live authentically, nor the emotional maturity to not throw temper tantrums in executive actions, you realize that by being in relationship with those who are authentic, you yourself find ways of your own authenticity seeping through. We strive as Unitarian Universalists and here at UUFNN to foster a community where everyone is valued, is loved, is free, is authentic. And we might not always get the words right. We are not perfect. If I ask the question, who here has accidentally not used my correct pronouns, the entire room will raise their hand, but I'm not going to make you do that. We all know. And you all don't stop trying. Liberating love is not about a perfect love. It is about the love that shows up, that empowers, that breaks chains, that says, I'm here with you. Tell me where you need me. And if you just need me to hold your hand, I'll do it. But if you need me to get in the streets, I can. In the words of our tradition, love is the power that holds us together, is at the center of our shared values, the center of our faith. That is the truth that is going to hold us as we navigate these challenges of our time. May we, like Bishop Buddy, like those of us who have been a part of this community for years, have the courage to speak out against injustice and the compassion to embrace all with an open heart. That does not mean we do not have boundaries, but with intention in such a way that together we will be vessels, foots, hands, speeches, posters, protests of liberating love, transforming our world into a more just and loving place. And that challenge is a blessing, y'all. Amen. Blessed be, and namaste.